Hi, it's Laura at Aquamarine18. Thanks for stopping by my channel today. Welcome or welcome back. This is a VR to the tag My Plant Decks, which was started by Meg at Rose Honey Ritual as a VR to a video that Kasha from Tarot Map mentioned she was going to be making but hadn't yet made at the time. I've seen a number of VRs to this tag already, and I wanted to make one of my own. I have 8 decks to share that I consider to be plant decks, though as you'll see, perhaps unsurprisingly, given that I'm a practicing druid, quite a lot of my plant decks are actually tree decks. And this includes some tarot decks, a playing card deck, some oracle decks, and ogham decks. So lots of different kinds of plant decks in my collection. I will timestamp them below in case you want to just skip ahead to the decks you haven't seen before. So the first plant deck in my collection that I will show is Flora Tarot, and this deck was a Kickstarter, and as the name suggests, is a plant-based tarot deck. And this deck appealed to me for a number of reasons. In particular, just getting the extra cards out here. In particular because I don't know a whole lot about plants, and this is a plant deck with a really thorough, kind of multidisciplinary guidebook that really explains how each plant was chosen to pair with each of the tarot cards. And you can see on the cards that they have the name of the card, like 10 of Pentacles in this example, and then the English and Latin name of the plant that is depicted as well. And the guidebook really gets into everything from kind of traditional uses of these plants to ways that these plants figure into mythology or their cultural significance in different kinds of contexts, their role in different stories and things like that, as well as their natural properties, how they grow, what they look like. So for example, the sunflower being chosen for the sun, I think, is a pretty self-explanatory choice, but a lot of them for me as someone who doesn't know a ton about plants would not be obvious at all. And I'd been kind of on the lookout for a deck like this, a plant-based tarot deck, but really had the criteria for it that it had to have a good, thorough guidebook that clearly explained the choices, because they would not be obvious to me at all. This is very much a deck that I can learn more about plants from. It reads well and it's beautiful, but when it comes to the significance of the plants, I still very much am guidebook reliant. But I like a good guidebook. I like a big guidebook. So this deck made me very happy. It is linen finish. It shuffles beautifully. And I love this 4-leaf clover backing on the cards. So that is my one really plant-based tarot deck, Flora Tarot. The other tarot deck that I have decided to include in this video, which features plants, is the Tarot of Trees by Dana O'Driscoll. And this one features kind of the symbolism of tarot, but by depicting trees. So it's a very shiny, glossy deck, and it's a mini size that's great for traveling. I really like traveling with this deck. So this one is not so much individual types of trees. It's not so much an educational kind of deck about trees as it is just paintings of trees that represent the meanings of the cards. And that's the back. The colors are much nicer than my camera will make them out to be. And I really like this deck. It's a good one to throw in my backpack when I'm camping and things like that, to bring along. Nice and portable with its small size. And, unlike Flora Tarot, This one really doesn't require any knowledge of plants at all to read with. It's a fairly Smith-Waite system deck. There are certainly hints of humans in the cards. Like here you can see some houses and things in the front, but there are no humans depicted. It's all trees. And this is a really good reading deck. I find it looks beautiful with lots of oracle decks. And I love Dana's work very much. There will be another deck later in this video, also created by Dana O'Driscoll, who's the Grand Archdruid of AODA, Ancient Order of Druids in America, which, you know, I'm sure folks will know that I am a part of. So, and she also has another deck that's a plant spirit oracle that I don't have. So she's made 3 plant-based decks. That's the Tarot of Trees. The third deck that I want to share is a playing card deck, actually. And this deck is called Discover the Incredible Lives of Trees Playing Cards. Playing cards with 52 different images, it says on the box. And the top of the box has a picture of raccoons on it, which I quite enjoy. I bought this with no idea what it would be like for $8.50, the ticket says there. And I found this actually in the gift shop at Algonquin Park. So I didn't really look inside it before I bought it. I just saw it and figured, okay, this is, you know, it's good to have playing cards in your way. And also, you know, I'll like this because it's about trees. And so actually what it is a educational deck with a lot of text on it. So this is tree mythology that teaches you different things about trees, how to plant a tree. This one is exploding trees, tree identification, and the backs are actually this Discover the Incredible Lives of Trees kind of logo, I guess. Tree rings and climate history. So this is kind of like a book about trees, but in playing card form. And I have read all of this. When I saw what this was, what I ended up doing was a card a day for 52 days until I had gone through the whole thing. I don't use this deck for divination or anything like that, but it's a cool deck to have in my collection, and I think fits pretty clearly the prompt of plant decks. So that is Discover the Incredible Lives of Trees playing cards, and it's by Sea to Sky Photo. A cool find on vacation. The next 2 that I want to share are both oracle decks, and they are animal deck, plant deck combo. But since they do have a plant on every card, I have opted to include them in this video, even though they're also, you know, they're simultaneously also decks that I would put in an animal decks video. And one of them is stuck in their bag. There we go. So the first one is the Flora and Fauna of Africa Oracle deck by Jessie Jumanji. And this was my first Jessie Jumanji deck. Now I have 2. And this is a really cool deck. I've made a video about this deck before. I really enjoy this Oracle deck. These are the backs. And so, as the name suggests, Flora and Fauna, each card has 1 animal and 1 plant. So you can see the animal is the more prominent of the 2 in some ways because its title is so large, but each one also has a plant, and it has a name for the plant, the Latin name, and a keyword. And so the messages in this deck, the kind of paragraph messages at the bottom, are informed by both the animal and the plant. So here we have a mosquito, and a type of lily that I'm not going to try to pronounce correctly. Wake robin and cicada. I like cicadas, and they've been loud lately. Komodo dragon has oak, and here oak is steadfastness, and I like that because Dar, the fid in ogham that relates to oak or corresponds to oak, steadfastness would be a good keyword to go with that as well. Dar or oak is associated with strength and stability, and also craftspersonship, because it's obviously a wood that is used for lots of different purposes. Here we have eye bright for clear perspective, paired with the black rhinoceros, and a message about changing perspective. The angelfish paired with copahue for courage. And I just really like how the plants and animals look together. Stonecrop and praying mantis. Trumpet creeper and lobster. So when I work with this deck, I look at both the plant and the animal there, which makes it to me fit into my plant decks. And that's Flora and Fauna of Africa by Jessie Jumanji. The next one, I would say is very similar in terms of the structure, I guess, and that is Woodland Wardens by Jessica Rue. This one similarly has an animal and a plant on every card. It does not have the nice long messages like Flora and Fauna of Africa has, but the cards do have keywords to them. So this is the back. And so each card names, again, the animal, the plant, and a keyword. So we have ladybug and sweet pea for happiness, dragonfly and pansy for balance, mouse and buttercup for innocence, turtle and coriander for satisfaction. This turtle looks quite satisfied in their facial expression, which I enjoy. Spider and passion flower for creative ingenuity. Finch and peach. Bear and cedar. Both entities that I live very close to. The trout and lily of the valley. And so on. And so this one comes with a guidebook. The Flora and Fauna of Africa does not. So I kind of started making my own with little notes about each animal or plant. The Woodland Wardens comes with a pretty substantive guidebook, actually. And the entries will tell you a little something about both the animal and the plant. So for example, there's the deer and oat together with the keyword for healing. And the guidebook notes that the fallow deer is noted for, among other things, velvety antlers that regrow each year, and oats are symbols of restorative nutrition because they can flourish even in poor soil. So you get a sense of the meaning for each plant and animal from the book. So I read this as, again, a kind of plant-animal deck combo, just like the Flora and Fauna of Africa, which makes it fit into my plant decks. So that's Woodland Wardens. The next deck I'll talk about is a recent one to my collection, which I have made a video about, and that is the TreeLore Oracle, an eco-printed oracle of Eastern North American trees by Dana O'Driscoll. Again, Dana O'Driscoll is the creator of the Tarot of Trees, as well as Plant Spirit Oracle, which I do not own. This deck I've decided is going to be some kind of study deck for the next year. I don't know if I'm going to pick one card per moon phase or one per month or exactly what that's going to look like, but I want to spend some time with these trees in a more sustained way. The guidebook is massive. And most of these trees do grow where I live. I'm quite a bit further north than where Dana lives, so some of them do not. But many of them do. So I want to make some excursions to spend some time with these trees, you know, physically, as well as learning about them in the guidebook. And these cards, of course, as eco-printed, were made with actual pieces of the tree itself. So that is leaves from a black cherry tree, for instance. And I made a recent video about this, but the guidebook includes all kinds of things: mythology, traditional uses, recipes for making things out of the tree. Black walnut and I have a challenging relationship right now. I live near black walnut. Black willow. Devil's walking stick is one of the ones that does not grow anywhere near me at all. I had never heard of it before. So each card is a tree. And so that makes this, of course, a plant deck. And it's one that I'm slowly getting to know, mostly admittedly by reading the guidebook. I haven't done a reading with this. I spent some time looking online to figure out which trees out of this actually do grow near me. And then I went looking to see where they were locally, like if I could go and visit all of these trees. A couple of them are in my yard, but many of them are not. So I did some research there, which was fun. And I really like this deck. So that's my most recent plant deck, the TreeLore Oracle. And the last two decks are plant decks that are ogham based, which again means they're tree decks for the most part. The first is the Celtic Tree Oracle. There are two decks, they're both mass market, that are both called Celtic Tree Oracle. This is the one by Liz and Colin Murray. There is a second one that looks very different, but is also ogham. And this is my first ogham deck. As of now, I have two ogham decks, but this is the first one that I ever owned, that I learned with. And I really like that the cards name the tree and name the ogham letter as well, and they depict it on the side. And they tend to have something that kind of cues you into the meaning of the card. So here you have the white poplar for Ada, and you can see in here an image that suggests how it shakes, right? And the white poplar is also the quaking aspen, and that has to do with its meaning in the ogham as well. Ash. What's the hawthorn? And the book for this one is okay. Not great. I wouldn't suggest it as a sole learning resource for ogham, but it's interesting. It's a good read. Gort is ivy, and so on. So that is the Celtic Tree Oracle. And last but not least, in my opinion anyway, is my own deck, which is the Arboreal Ogam, or an Arboreal Ogam rather. And this is the ogham deck that I made in the context of Kelly Fitzgerald's Oracle class, where we made our own decks. And so it has a photo for each plant on the card. These are almost all stock photography. has some keywords at the bottom, which I think is something that is lacking in the other available ogham decks on the market. The name of the plant or tree. The name of the ogham is included. And it is a 20 card deck. This is the one photo that I took. The willow that's around the corner from my house. And I'm thinking of doing an expansion pack. There needs to be a Forfetta expansion pack for the other 5 ogham, I think. So that's something that may happen sometime. We'll see. I need to firm up my own understandings and associations of the Forfetta first, and then maybe that will be something coming up later. So that's an Arboreal Ogam, my deck, and that's the last of my plant decks. I've been enjoying seeing plant decks from other folks who've done the VR to this tag. If you want to share what your favorite plant deck is in the comments, please do. I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear if you have any of these decks that I've shown and enjoy working with them as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all again soon.